In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet these adorable no-sew turtles. They are so cute and they work up so quickly, and they are no sewing. And they don't have a floppy head at all like other no-sew turtle patterns. For this video, I'll be showing you how to crochet the small one that is made with worsted weight yarn, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But the pattern works the same way if you want to make a soft one with chunky weight yarn. So also, if you are interested in following along with the pattern on my Etsy shop, I'll link that in the description box below so you can follow along with the video tutorial. And for those of you who will purchase the pattern from my shop, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting me. So now let's figure out exactly what materials we need for this project. The materials for this project will be 2 colors of yarn. As I said earlier, I will be using worsted weight yarn for the purpose of the tutorial, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But if you want to make the soft, larger mini turtle, you can use 5 or 6 weight yarn for this. The yarns I found that were nice for the soft turtles, I like using burlap blanket yarn. It's not my favorite for the plushies, but if you want to use burlap blanket, it's a good option. It works. I also like the Premier Perfect chunky yarn. That is really nice. And also, like for the shell here for this turtle, I used burlap velvet yarn, and it makes it look super cute with the little shine added to it. So those are just some yarn options that I have found that work really well. But if you have any other yarns that you think would work well for the soft turtles, please link it in the comments below, and that would help me, and that would also help other people watching this video. So don't forget to do that if you know of any other yarn that you think would work well for plushies. So we went through the yarn. Remember, 2 colors, one for the shell, one for the body. Depending on the size you're making for the turtle, for the small one, use a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. And then for the larger one, the soft one, use a 4 millimeter crochet hook. You will also need some tapestry needles, or 1 tapestry needle, I should say. If you would like to get a big pack like this one, I can link that in the description box below, so you can get these for a very cheap price. You will also need some safety eyes, and you can also embroider eyes if you want, but I like the safety eyes because it's just super quick. So for the smaller one, use 8 millimeter safety eyes, and also you could change this up if you want smaller eyes or larger eyes. And then you will need 9 millimeter safety eyes for the larger turtle. And then you will also need a pair of scissors, some fiberfill stuffing if you want to stuff your turtle. Well, I guess you should stuff your turtle. And this is optional, but if you want to use some stitch markers to keep track of your stitches, I will also link this in the description box below, because I got these for really cheap, and I love all the different colors and stuff. It's really fun. So once you have all your materials together, we can get right into it. To start the project, we will be starting with the front fins of the turtle. We're making 2 of them. And then with our body colored yarn, I'm using my tan. And then the hook sides that you are using and your stitch marker, that is optional. So to start, we are making a magic ring. And I have an in-depth tutorial for the magic ring in the description box below, so you can check that out if you don't know how to make one. So after you made your magic ring, you chain 1. I've already made my chain 1. And we're putting 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So 6 single crochets in the magic ring. I'm at 4, 5, and 6. And then you can pull your tail end to cinch your ring tight and use your stitch marker and put it in your last or first stitch. I put it in my last stitch. So that was round 1. So moving on to round 2. We're increasing in every single stitch. So we're putting 2 stitches in every stitch. And at the end of this round, we should have a total of 12 single crochets. So I'll meet you back once I finished round 2. So here I'm on my last stitch, and we have one last round for our front fins. So we can move our stitch marker up. So now for round 3, the last round, we're putting 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're increasing in the next. So 1, increase, all the way around. And at the end of this round, so round 3, we should have a total of 18 single crochets. So I'll meet you back after I finished round 3. I'm on my last increase. Okay, so I've finished round 3, and I do have a total of 18 stitches. So we can leave our stitch marker out, and basically what we're doing is we're folding our fin in half as so. So got my circle, fold it in half, and then we're going to be going through both stitches, the front stitches and the last stitches, to basically crochet it together. So I'm going into my first stitch, and then I'm going into my last stitch, and I'm making a single crochet as so. So first stitch, last stitch, single crochet. I'll show you one more time. First stitch, last stitch, single crochet. And we want to have 9 stitches across here. So I'll meet you back once I finished my 9 stitches. Okay, 8 and 9. So now I finished closing my first front fin, and then you can chain 1 and cut your yarn, and it doesn't need to be like cut as a long tail, because we're basically going to crochet it onto our piece because there's no sewing. So finish it as so, and you can repeat that whole process one more time to make the second front fin. So I'll meet you back after I have my 2 front fins. So now I have completed my first 2 fins, so my front fins, and now we can move on to the back fins, and same thing, we're making 2. So to begin, make a magic ring and then chain 1. So the back fins are basically the same process, except there's one less round. So we're putting 6 single crochet in the magic ring as usual. 3, 4, 5, 6. And then pull your tail end to pull it tight. Grab your stitch marker. And then for round 2, now round 2 is our final round. We're just putting 1 increase in every single stitch. So at the end, we should have 12 stitches. So I'll meet you back after I finished round 2. So now I finished round 2, and you can remove your stitch marker. We don't need it anymore. And again, we're folding it in half, and we're going into the first stitch and into the last stitch. And with this one, it's a little harder since it's a bit smaller than the other one, but it still works. And repeat that same process. You want to go front stitch and then back stitch and make a single crochet. And we want 6 stitches across here. So I'll meet you back once I finished my 6 stitches. So here I'm on my last stitch, making my last single crochet. I have 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, chain 1, and you can cut your yarn. And then repeat that process one more time to make another back fin. So I'll meet you back after I finished my last fin. So now I finished all of my fins, 2 back fins, 2 front fins, and now we will make the little tail. So still with your first body colored yarn, again we're making a magic ring and chaining 1. So for round 1, we're putting 8 single crochets into the magic ring. So 2, 3, not a yarn over, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you can pull your tail in once again and place your stitch marker into the last or first stitch. So now rounds 2 through 3, so 2 and 3, we're just single crocheting in every stitch around. So I'll meet you back after I finished round 3. So here I finished round 3 and I have a total of 8 single crochets. So now we can take our stitch marker out and we'll be repeating the same process as we did for the fins. We're folding in half and going into the first stitch and into the last stitch, and we're making a single crochet. So you want to do this until we have 4 single crochet stitches. I'm pulling my scissors with me. There we go. Move those away. And 4. So I've got 4 stitches on my little tail, and then again you can chain 1 and fasten off. For some reason my scissors don't let me cut with my left hand. They don't work. Look. On my left hand, they're like completely dull. My right hand, it just goes snip. So weird. Write in the comment section below if you know why. It's really strange. Okay, so you finish your little tail, and we have all of our fins and our tail all done. So now we can make our head and body. So we're going to be starting with the head. Here you can see my little magic ring. So we're starting with the head, and we're still using our body colored yarn. So for the head and body, we're starting at the head. We're making a magic ring once again and chaining 1. So we're putting 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you can pull on this ring to pull it tight. And grab your stitch marker and put it into your first or last stitch. So for round 2, we're just increasing in every single stitch. So putting 2 stitches in 1 in every single stitch. And at the end of this round, we will have a total of 12 single crochets. So I'll meet you back once I finished round 2. So here I have completed round 2 of the head, and I have a total of 12 single crochets. So now you can move your stitch marker up, and then now moving on to round 3, we're putting 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then increasing in the next. So 1 increase, 1 increase in every single stitch. And at the end of round 3, we should have a total of 18 single crochets. So I will meet you back after I have finished round 3. So now I'm on my last increase. I have a total of 18 single crochets. You can move your stitch marker up. So now moving on to round 4. We're putting 2 single crochets in the first 2 stitches, and then we're increasing in the next. So 1, 1, increase, 1, 1, increase in every single stitch. And at the end of round 4, we should have a total of 24 stitches. So I shall meet you back after I have finished round 4. Last increase, total of 24 single crochets. And you can move your stitch marker up. So now rounds 5 through 8, which is going to be 4 rounds, we're single crocheting in every stitch around. So 4 rounds of just single crocheting in every single stitch. And at the end of round 8, we should have a total of 24 single crochets. So I'll meet you back after I have finished round 8. So now I'm on my last stitch of round 8, which was single crocheting in every stitch around. And I have a total of 24 stitches. So here you can move your stitch marker up. And moving on to round 9, we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then another single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're decreasing in the next. And I recently learned the invisible decrease, so I can show you really quick how to do that. If you want a more in-depth tutorial, I can definitely make one. Just say so in the comments below. So basically, to make a decrease, hold on, let me put my first 2 single crochets in here first. 2. And basically you're repeating this all the way around. So 2 single crochets, decrease. So basically to make the invisible decrease, you're going to put, you're going into the front loops only. So front loops in this stitch, front loop in the next stitch, and then you're making a single crochet. Okay, so then 2 regular single crochets. I'm losing my tension for some reason. And then decrease. So front loop, decrease. Basically just repeat that all the way around. So 1 and then 2 regular single crochets and then a decrease in the next. And you can also use a regular decrease, whatever decrease you use, feel free to use that. So repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then a decrease. And repeat that all the way around. So I'll meet you back once I finished round 9. So now moving on to round 10, we're going to make 3 regular decreases. So we've got 1 decrease, 2 decreases, and then 3 decreases. Sorry, my hands are sweaty. Hate that sound. Okay, 3 decreases. Now we're basically going to make 3 decreases together. So we go into 1 stitch, then 2 stitches, and then 3 stitches, and make a single crochet. So pull through all 3 of those, and then pull through the 2. So that is a decrease 3 together. So instead of 1, we usually do 2 decreases together. We're doing 3 now. And then again, we're making 2 regular decreases. So that's 1 decrease, and this is 2 decreases. And then we're making 3 decreases together. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then a regular decrease. So 1 and 2. And that will finish up round 10. And at the end, you should have 8 single crochets. So that brings the stitch count down. And you can move your stitch marker up. And here you can, maybe if you want to, you can start stuffing your head. I'm just going to stuff it just a little bit so it's a little easier to get my fingers in. My fingers are probably smaller than yours. So you could probably have started stuffing a little bit before. But you could also, I mean, the hole is still, it's still pretty big. It's not that bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna stuff it, just a very little bit right here. And basically we're gonna add the eyes in just a couple more steps, because I'll show you about the next part really quick. Well, in a couple minutes. I'll show you the next part where we add the safety eyes, and it'll make more sense if we do it a little bit later. So I'll show you. So now for round 11, we're just putting 3 single crochets in every stitch. So we're increasing but adding 1 more. So you're putting 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets into the same stitch. So we're doing 3 single crochets in every stitch, and that will bring our stitch count up to 24 stitches. So repeat this all the way around, and at the end you should have 24 stitches. So now I have completed round 11. So here comes the fun part, which turns it into completely no sew. So you can remove your stitch marker. Now we're working in rows. So for row 12, we're chaining 1 and we're turning our work. So now we're putting 10 single crochets across the opposite direction we usually do. So now I've got 3. So basically now I have 10 single crochets. And here we're forming the belly piece of our turtle. The shell is made in a different piece, and I'll show you a little bit later how it's still no sew. So now for the next round, so round 13, we're attaching the front fins. So basically how we're going to do that is we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So we can grab our front fins, and the way you can tell is the front fins are just a little bit bigger. So grab the front fin, and you can kind of flip your head over because now you know this is the belly. You want to set it up so it's going to face this direction, so the curve is facing the front. So you're going to work on the second stitch first. So we're attaching the front fins. And to do that, we're putting our hook into the stitch of our front fin, and then we're putting into the stitch of our belly and making a single crochet pulling through both of those stitches. So we're basically making 2 single crochets with the front fin, and that is what I'm doing. So put my hook in the stitch of the fin, and then putting my hook in the stitch of the belly, just like so. And then you can put this little tail just in front of there, move it out of the way inside the belly. Now, still row 13, we're just doing regular 6 single crochet. We're not connecting anything. So 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, and 6. And then here, you can also figure out how to move it like that. Okay, we're going to this stitch. Now we're attaching the second front fin. So the same way we did before, you can kind of set the fin up and figure out how you wanna position the fin, as I showed you earlier. So just like that, you finish with the 2 single crochets with the front fin. And we still have 10 single crochets. So now we can attach the safety eyes, and you can see here we've got our fins like this. So I'm going to be grabbing my 8mm safety eyes. See these ones, and grab 2 of these ones. Okay. And basically the pattern says to attach the safety eyes between rounds 5 and 6. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we want between rounds 5 and 6. And it says 8 to 10 stitches apart. So I'm going to position my safety eyes, and I'll meet you back once I've finished deciding where I want my eyes. So I have finished positioning my safety eyes, and here you can stuff the head fully. So grab your stuffing, and you can finish stuffing it as full as you want it to be stuffed. You can also keep doing this. You can do it later too, but I like to do it now to make sure I positioned the eyes correctly. For some reason, I cannot say that word. Okay. I like how this is stuffed. And now for rows 14 through 16, we are just single crocheting in every stitch. So that is 3 rows. We're just single crocheting in every stitch. So you can chain 1 and turn and single crochet in every stitch, and then chain 1 and turn for 3 rows. So for row 16. And I'll meet you back once I have finished row 16. I am on my last row, so row 16. Here I'm on my last stitch. Okay, so I finished row 16, and now you can chain 1 and turn. So now we are attaching the back fins and the tail in this next row, so row 17. So it says put 2 single crochets with the back fin. So again, you can kind of position it how you want it. I like it like this. So working in the second stitch of the fin, and then into your body stitches, making 1 stitch and then 2 stitches with the back fin. And then it says just put 1 single crochet, so just 1 without attaching anything. And then it says grab your little tail and do 4 single crochets with the tail. So I've got 1 and then 2 and 3 and then 4. And then it says to do 1 single crochet again without attaching anything, and then 2 single crochets with the back fin again, so with the last back fin. When I can get my tails aside, my tail ends, not my turtle tail. 1 and then 2. Alright, so now we have attached all of our little pieces. So for row 18, it says to chain 1 and turn, and we're just putting 1 single crochet in every single stitch. And this is the last row of the body. So I'll meet you back once I have finished row 18. Here I'm on my last stitch of row 18. And now we are working in rounds again. I said earlier that was the last row of the body, but we actually have 1 more round, sorry. And basically this is the last row. So what we're doing is we're evenly spacing 4 single crochets down across these 7 rows of single crochet. So got 1 and then 2, and you want to evenly space them. 3 and then 4. And then we're doing 5 slip stitches into the stitches of round 11. So down here we're doing 5 slip stitches. 1, 2, and be careful not to make these too tight or else we won't be able to work into them a little bit later. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then we're doing a slip stitch decrease. So basically doing it the same way, we're just pulling through all of them at the same time. It's kind of weird. And then again, 5 more slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then 1 more decrease slip stitch. Let's see if I can even find the stitch. Here it is. Okay. 1 more slip stitch decrease. And then along up here we're putting 4 single crochets evenly spaced up along these 7 rows once again. So that was 3 and then 4. And we have finished our body. So you can now slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1 and fasten off with my right hand. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And then you can pull that through. And now we can move on to the shell piece. So grab your shell colored yarn and we'll get started with the shell. So for the shell, we're starting with a magic ring and then chain 1. So for the for the shell, we're putting 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you can pull it closed again and grab your stitch marker and put it into your last stitch. So now moving on to round 2, we're putting 1 increase in every stitch, so 2 stitches in 1. And I'll meet you back once I have a total of 12 stitches, and after increasing in every single stitch. On my last stitch, and I have a total of 12 single crochets. So now moving on to round 3, we're putting 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we're increasing in the next. So 1 increase in every single stitch. And I'll meet you back once I have finished round 3. I'm on my last stitch of round 3. So now moving on to round 4. Oh, and by the way, we should have a total of 18 single crochets here for round 3. So now moving on to round 4, we're putting 2 single crochets in the first 2 stitches, and then we're increasing in the next. And I will meet you back once I have finished round 4. So you're just repeating that all the way around. So here I have finished round 4. And now for the last round of the shell, we're putting 3 single crochets into the first 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we are increasing in the next. And then repeat that all the way around. So 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches, and then increase in the next. And I'll meet you back once I have finished round 5. So here I'm on my last increase. And now we have finished the shell. So you can take your stitch marker out. You should have a total of 30 single crochets. You can grab your little half-finished turtle, and now we're basically going to crochet the shell onto the body. So do not fasten off your yarn because we're basically single crocheting it onto the body. And you can pick any stitch. It doesn't really matter where. You're gonna put your hook into the first stitch of your shell, and then any stitch of the body, and make a single crochets. 1 single crochet, not single crochets. And then again into the stitch of your shell, and then into a stitch of the body. And just repeat that all the way around because the body should have 30 single crochets. Well, 30 stitches, not single crochets, because there's some slip stitches in there. And your shell has 30 single crochet stitches. So I'll meet you back once I've finished a few of these, and then we will stuff the little piece together. So here I have finished a few stitches of connecting the shell to the body, and the fun part is this is what creates the ridge of the shell. So it's kind of magical. It's really fun. It was really fun designing this pattern and seeing it all come together. So now we can stuff the shell, and you can stuff it as much as you want. You could even, it really depends on when you want to stuff it. But I'm just going to stuff it now when I still have some space to actually stuff it. That was too much. You don't need that much for this little turtle. If you're doing the bigger one, you might need a little more. But it's very small. It doesn't need that much stuffing. So now I'm going to keep going along here, and I'll meet you back once I have finished all my stitches. So here I'm on my last stitch, making my single crochet. You can slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1. And then you can fasten off your yarn And we can grab our yarn needle, and this is literally the only tail we ever weave in. So literally just poke it through the center of the body, as so, just like this. And you can cut your yarn, and your cute little turtle is completed. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and also you can comment on this video if you would like to. Please feel free to message me through Etsy if you have found any errors in the pattern that I have not come across as I was designing this pattern. If you are interested in more videos like this, please comment in the description. Please comment what kind of videos you would like to see on this channel. And I am so sorry that this video went super long. Even when I was editing it, I was like, oh shoot. But I was just trying to make the video easier for those of you who don't understand the pattern super well. So again, I'm really sorry for the video that went super long. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!